Welcome back to the Fanboy Cantina. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6. Just one more to go before the finale, and today we are joined by several of our friends of the channel. How you doing, guys?
Doing great. Happy to be here. It's going to be good.
And we have Captain Kirk, no less.
Boba Fett. Thought we were talking about Star Trek Discovery.
We could.
Why you guys keep doing this to me?
Wrong galaxy, man.
There was a mind meld. Didn't that make you happy?
Again, something else stolen. I will say this: Boba Fett brings up so many questions for me.
Oh, well, good. Let's answer them all during this episode.
That's hopefully.
So first, let's talk about overall series impressions.
Overall impressions, I will say I'm enjoying it. Now, I will say that I feel like it had a little bit of a bumpy start. There were some things that I feel like they could have spent a lot more time talking about, as far as how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, what the heck happened there, and just everything around his time with the Sand People. I think just that story alone,
that was the best episode.
I think that could have been an entire season, but they fast-tracked it.
But that was something that Star Wars never does. Story development, which is why that episode was great, because there was actual character and story development.
I did enjoy that. I do feel like they rushed it a little bit too much, so that part was kind of disappointing. But I will say that as the season has progressed, it has just gotten better and better. So it's interesting, right? Because I feel like for years, ever since you first heard about this character named Boba Fett from episode 5, he's always carried this mystique about him, because you don't really know too much about who he is. And then, fast forward to Attack of the Clones, you then get to find out a little bit more about who he is, but it's not so much about him, but more so his dad. Fast forward some more, you get to see more glimpses of him in the Clone Wars. And so now here we are, it's his show, and I feel like some of that mystique is lost, because now you're seeing him without his helmet all the time, and while you're learning more about him, you're losing some of that mysterious side to him. Which
I wonder if that's a Disney decision and not a Star Wars writer's decision. I only say that because Mando has proven to be very popular, and having everyone's favorite little green friend seems to be something that has driven consumerism for Disney. So being able to put him into 2 of the episodes of Boba Fett, which I didn't think it actually belonged. I agree with you. I didn't think any of that stuff belonged to the Boba Fett stuff. I was happy to see the episode. I thought it was actually a good episode. The first Mandalorian one. The first Mandalorian episode within Boba Fett, not this last week's one. I thought that one was actually a really good episode. I'm probably going to disagree with you guys on this episode 6, but that's a whole separate story.
I feel like part of what makes the Mandalorian series so popular and Din Djarin is such a great character is, while we're getting glimpses of him, there's still sort of a big mysterious part to who he is. And it's almost like it's the Boba Fett formula that's now working for the Mandalorian. And so now we're now starting to get a blend of both of their stories, which seems like they're now going to tie into each other really, really well. But as far as just overall impressions, started rocky. There were a couple things that were a little annoying. Like I felt like the tone with the music. I don't know. I may have brought this up before, but in the first several episodes, I feel like the music within the Star Wars universe is almost a character in itself, as far as how it sets that background, and it really sort of it flows really well with the action or the emotion that's happening during the storytelling. And in the first, I would say, especially, it was really apparent to me in the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett, where to me the music was a distraction. I felt like it was a complete mismatch. It didn't work, and it was kind of annoying. These last two episodes, it feels more like I'm back in the Star Wars universe, and I think a lot of that's being driven with the Mandalorian's presence and the tone that whole backstory, that background with everything that's going on with him. We know what's happening, and even the music, if you'll notice, it's totally different. It's back to the Mandalorian style. So it's like, okay, now I feel like I'm back into Star Wars again, and everything's like everything has now been set right. So those are my impressions so far.
Overall, I was not expecting much. I was disappointed that they were going to do this because, much like Erevin, I think one of the big things that drew people's attention to Boba Fett was the mystery behind him. And I knew the more we found out, the more disappointed I would be. There have been little nuggets, little Easter eggs, and they've been fun. It's great being back in Jabba's palace, but overall, this series, if I'm being honest, has been an absolute train wreck. The timing of everything makes no sense to me. The back-to-tank flashbacks, I think, were totally unnecessary. They could have just done everything in chronologic order. My two most favorite episodes of the season have been the last two that had nothing to do with Boba Fett. I would have rather they just done a Mandalorian season 3. And it just shows how extraneous he is. Hey, you put something Star Wars out in front of me, I'll watch it, particularly if it's gonna have Boba Fett in the title. But yeah, if I'm being honest, it's been a just absolute train wreck.
Wow, that is not the impression I was going to hear.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't understand how you have the show called The Book of Boba Fett, and then he hasn't even been in the last 2 episodes. It's like they realized how bad of a job they were doing with it 5 episodes in, and said, all right, let's just give them what they want. Let's put Mandalorian and Baby Yoda in, and everyone will be happy. And yeah, I am.
I'm curious if did they start to realize that, and they said, all right, let's fast track this. Let's actually start showing the first 2 episodes of Mandalorian season 3, but we're just going to somehow cut it into the Book of Boba Fett. That
No
thought
way.
did go through my head.
See what I like I said before, I think there's a commercial aspect of having Baby Yoda in this series. Now, what's this show called? The Books of Boba Fett, right? So I'm not, look, you're asking I like Star Wars like I like anything else. It's not a religion for me, but they're good. Some of them are good movies. I've seen them all.
It's like it's a hokey religion for you.
It's no, I mean, look, in terms of this, my impressions of this show, there have been some good episodes. I'm telling you that Sand People episode, or whatever those things are called.
That's right.
Tuskens.
Yes.
Okay.
No, just Tuskens.
That was a redemption story of sorts. I mean, that episode was classic storytelling. Because you've got, that whole Tusken episode could have been just a story of its own. Didn't even need to be part of a series. Yeah. That stuff in this last episode with Grogu and Luke, oh, come on. That was just a favor to all you diehard fans, because it just proves that Mark Hamill as a young Luke Skywalker is still a bad actor. That dialogue that you're trying to make sound like from 1977 movie is still hokey. When I think they do their best when they aim to try something new. And in some aspects of books of Boba. They have tried some things that are new, and they're good. I mean, again, I guess that's why I liked Rogue One, because it was something new and was good storytelling. I like good storytelling, and I agree that I found this disjointed. The way the timelines are sort of shifting around within the episode, within the series, are a bit unnerving. I was actually wondering, why are they doing it this way? Because it's not that much time difference. They don't really need to be doing it this way. But, you know, artistic license, I guess. But it's filmed beautifully. I actually think the music, interesting you said about the music, Walt. Though I agreed with what you said before, I kind of like the music because the music sounds like Western music. And I really think they're trying to have like a Western vibe to this when you think about the different storylines. But then it gets weird when they move away from that theme of a Western and go to some far off planet with a spaceship. It's not like riding your horse to the next town, because this past episode seemed very out of place, because everything has been sort of very focused on Tatooine, right? That's where they are in this one, isn't it? Right. Yeah. Tatooine.
The place furthest from any interest, but yet everything seems to take place there.
Overall impressions, I haven't skipped a week when it's come out. Shows that I'm not that excited with, I'll end up missing one and then catching up 2 or 3 in a row. I've been watching them week for week because each episode has kept my interest. I mean, I think they are filmed really well. I mean, they're very pretty shows. You know what I mean?
They are pretty.
Cinematography, for sure.
Yeah, it's good cinematography, and I like the music.
Well, it was exciting this last episode. There was some elements of John Williams with Yoda's song. And I mean, there was and that was really rewarding, and it just made it feel like Star Wars. Whereas the I don't know, it's
Come on, didn't you get real excited when they pulled out Yoda's little lightsaber?
I think the season has been uneven. I completely agree. The parts with the Tuskens were fabulous. I thought that was really interesting story. It was beautifully done. The forging of the relationship between Boba Fett and the Tuskens, and all of that, I thought was exceptional. When they are slaughtered, some episodes later, you felt that there was a bit of a good emotion to that.
Mm-hmm.
But other parts, just tonally a little bit uneven or off. The scene with the mods and the Vespas, or whatever that we were going to call those things.
Yes.
I don't know. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, I agree.
So with these, but then, yeah, just as you guys said, the past 2 episodes, Boba Fett's in there for what, maybe 90 seconds at most. In episode 6, not even in episode 5.
Yep.
And somehow it feels like the strongest of the episodes of the series.
Yeah.
A little bit strange.
Yeah.
A little bit strange.
Yeah.
I thought 5 was better than 6, if you ask me.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's
5 has been the best of the season, I think.
Directed by
I thought that black sword. Oh, I'm just gonna say the special effects behind that thing are cool.
Yeah, Fanboy G, you bring up a great point. I'm all in on Bryce Dallas Howard just directing all of them from here on out. Like, just give her a full-time job. Let's go.
She's nailed it every time.
Yes.
I mean, I know in The Mandalorian, she did the episode where, but isn't it when he crashes down onto the ocean planet? I'm pretty sure she directed that. Yeah. So I thought
who directed the Tusken one?
Rodriguez.
No, I assume was Rodriguez.
Was it Rodriguez? I know Rodriguez directed the first one.
I think he did the second one as well.
Did he?
Yeah. I think so.
I think with Robert Rodriguez, it's an uneven body of work there too. Certain things, certain franchises that he's been able to develop are fabulous. The Spy Kids franchise, maybe not my thing, but I can appreciate it. Desperado or El Mariachi, just unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And then whatever the third mariachi movie was, what
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
thank you. That one broke my heart. You had the awesomeness of Desperado, and then you got
Once Upon a Time in Mexico. El Mariachi was a great movie. I mean,
fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was made like on 50 grand or something.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a man named Bucho. So let's talk about episode 6.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Something to drink.
Clink. I do like the joke that Steve Buscemi tells in Desperado. I thought that was pretty funny.
Steve Buscemi. Oh yes. Yes. The pastor.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, good memory. Now I got to rewatch that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Episode 6. Where to start? Overall impressions of episode 6 in particular.
They definitely invested more money into the younger Mark Hamill CGI de-aging effect, and I felt like it worked in making it look more believable in comparison to The Mandalorian.
Did you see how they did it? Did you watch the making of episode for the Mandalorian one for de-aging Mark Hamill?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
they did it via AI and
deep
big data analytics. They went about it really expensive.
Yeah, but do you know why it looks better now than it did in the other one?
Oh, do they not do that again?
Yeah, because some guy on YouTube was like, "Yeah, look, here's what I can do," and it looked way better, and so they just hired him.
Did they really?
I think it's not confirmed that Shamook, I think, is the guy. I don't think it's confirmed that he did it, but you wonder what role he may have played.
Interesting.
I thought it was very compelling. There are the beats where, it doesn't quite look right, but overall, I believed it. I was in.
Yeah. It looked way better than the Mandalorian one.
Much better. I felt like it was a very fun episode. I felt like there were elements of, I guess, with the Mandalorian wanting to bring Grogu the gift, the chainmail or the space mithril. I thought, okay, so we have a little Lord of the Rings action happening here, but
it looked like a Village People outfit.
I was going to say it looked like the bad guy from Commando.
Commando, yes.
John, or the dude from Highlander.
But I thought it was a really fun episode. I mean, everything from, with what we know about Grogu so far, we know he likes to eat frogs, and so the whole using the Force to pull all the frogs out of the water that was good
CGI.
I thought good CGI, yeah. But then having some of the Easter eggs there, like the remote that Luke brought out, I thought that was pretty cool because I'm assuming it's then the same remote that Rey uses all the way in The Rise of Skywalker. And so
I'm not sure. He seemed to crush it and break it and drop it in the water.
He busted it.
Oh, that's right. It sank. My bad. I felt like it was a fun episode that is obviously it's providing in what I was thinking, it's providing some additional backstory. It also met some good or delivered some good fanboy material with having Ahsoka brought in. So that was fun to see. And in knowing the path that Din Djarin is now on, and since he's now officially not a Mandalorian, according to what had happened in losing the Darksaber and everything that sort of followed after that, it sets him up. It sets his character up in a way to where he now, I'm not saying he has nothing to lose. He has everything to gain, and he wants to sort of be put back on that path. But he knows he has this, not this debt to pay with Boba Fett. It's because, I mean, he did say, well, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it on the house. But I feel like there's going to be something that comes out of this that's going to somehow backfire on his plan. And I think that's when things are going to get really, really interesting. And he may start doing things that's possibly out of his character that's going to take everyone by surprise. Now, what that's going to consist of, I don't know, but I want to see what happens. I feel like he's going to have to make a choice, and it's going to be a choice that's in his best interest, but it's going to have a really bad consequence. And so I'm curious to see what that's going to be.
Yeah, see, that's the Star Wars religion I'm talking about, where you've thought about this a lot. My thought was, oh, I see why they're doing this. They're going to create like an Avengers series after this, which has all of these characters together now that they've been introduced in all the different series and all of the timelines have linked up. That's how I saw it, because I just think about it. It's Disney and they're looking to make money.
Well, of course they're looking to make money.
So what's going to be the best way to make money? It's going to be to take all these characters and put them all together into a movie or into another series.
Well, all right. So I will say one of the really exciting parts of the most recent episode was when we then got to see the bounty hunter from the Clone Wars series, Cad Bane, right? Bane, or whatever he goes by. And
which character is that? Oh,
that guy. Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't know who that was when I saw him.
Okay. Yeah. So
I was like, it looks like a character with Pale Rider who's got headgear on.
Yes. Yes, basically. And the fact that he took out the Marshal, I didn't see that happening so soon, but we also know that Cad Bane as a character is pretty he's pretty menacing, and he brings a lot.
He's kind of a cad.
He's kind of a cad, yeah. But
more cad than Bane.
There's something I definitely see something happening between Cad and Din Djarin specifically, and I think it's going to be another one of those things that may take people by surprise, and so I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Can't Din Djarin just press that button on his wrist and send out those like 50 micro missiles and hit him with it? I never understood why he doesn't use that every time.
He should lead with that.
I think he's kind of running out of them, because when he emptied his gauntlet, when he was getting on the commercial freighter, there were only like 6 little whistling birds fell out. And now that he doesn't have the armorer on his team, I don't know that he's got that many more.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, just saying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, duh. Captain Kirk.
So D-Block, what did you think of episode 6?
I agree with Aravind. It was fun. And if it was just a standalone episode, I would say, oh, it was awesome. If I'm being honest, if I didn't know all of this other stuff about Star Wars, if I didn't know who Cad Bane was, if I didn't know about the Jedi school that Luke is building, if I didn't know who Ahsoka was, I would have been just like, what the heck is going on? I mean, it's so confusing, the direction they're taking this season. But I mean, it was Cad Bane. It was Timothy Olyphant. I mean, it was awesome. I mean that Western duel was just I was nervous. I knew it was not going to end well. It's probably one of the few times I've ever watched a Star Wars. I kind of had the same feeling during near the end of Revenge of the Sith, when it was just like you knew that Anakin was going to turn and go baddie, but there was still like this, but maybe it won't. And it was the same thing with the Marshal getting shot by Cad Bane. But that part was just amazing for me. I thought they did an amazing job bringing him to life. He looked absolutely terrifying. Way more terrifying than in the cartoons. They did a great job with him.
Was that CGI or was it an actor?
I don't know. I don't know.
All I know is that seeing Timothy Olyphant, and it makes me very much looking forward to the Justified revival. Just saying.
Justified in space.
No, but there's going to be a new Justified season next year. Very excited.
All right. Well, he still got it, right?
Yes, he does.
But it looked like he did get shot in the right shoulder, which is his shooting arm. So we'll see how good he is moving forward. I'm not sure he'll be anyone's Huckleberry in the next episode.
Maybe it'll be like Quigley Down Under, where you find out that he's actually left-handed instead.
Ooh,
and he was just doing it.
Selick reference.
He was just using the right because, just because, but really
just because.
Lefty.
So yeah, lots of fun Easter eggs, lots of fun little things to see, but just overall, and I just worry what this is going to bring for the final episode. That I worry they're going to just try and cram it all in to some 30-40 minute episode, and it's going to be an absolute disaster. But I'll still love it because it'll have some awesome scenes in it, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I don't understand how this is the last episode because they haven't even gone to war with this syndicate thing yet.
Oh, the Pikes.
The
Pikes, yeah.
The Pikes.
The people with the pentagon-shaped head.
Fish faces.
With the iron face helmets on their face?
Yes.
It just, I don't know. I feel like they could have, I don't know. I feel like the Mandalorian show has the whole Western vibe locked down. And to then just do it again with Boba Fett just seems annoying. And so I'd rather them go the route of like the mafia thing and have it be more Godfather-y, where Boba Fett is no longer some amazing warrior. He's just some fat guy eating nuts and telling other people what to do. I don't know. I would have been so much more interested if there was more backstory with time with the Tuskens, and then that affects how he wants to run this family that he's creating, and that would have been so much more interesting.
That's right, because Jabba, they ran it. That was like the mafia.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forget that.
Space
those brothers and sisters that came in on the litter. No, that whole thing didn't need to happen.
Oh, that was great. I felt like they were kind of going for like a Godfather 2 kind of thing, where it was, let's go back in time and then we'll fast forward. And it just, I don't know, it just didn't work. I wish they had just done it chronologically.
Yeah. Like the Godfather saga.
Like the Godfather saga. It would have been I think it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now that's actually really why I never thought about it that way. This could have been a sci-fi mobster show instead of
Mandalorian season 3.
That's not what they did, and that's not what we got.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what you were hoping for isn't what happened, and that's not what they're aiming for. Oh, that's so disappointing because wow, now I'm thinking about it. Now I don't like the show. Because it could have been really good had they done it that way.
Yes. He's got a rancor, for crying out loud.
Yes. Scorsese could have really done something awesome.
Yes.
Oh, and what's his name? The giant angry Wookiee. That could have been like
Black Chrysanthemum, yes.
he could have been the button man.
Yes. Black Chrysanthemum sleeps with the fishes.
Right. I couldn't think of the name. I said he could have been like him.
The mayor wakes up with the major domo's head in the under the sheets. I mean, it would have been amazing.
I think we just solved the problem. See, this is the kind of stuff that I guess if I understood what Reddit was and actually cared about having other people know what I think, that's the kind of thing like you could write on Reddit and say, wow, this could have been so much better if it had been a classic mob story.
Oh.
We should be creative consultants
For Reddit?
just for Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
Well, no.
Oh man. So Captain Kirk, anything we've missed, other things you would say about episode 6 of your thoughts and impressions of the episode?
I will say this. If you're going to cinematically, if you're going to compare it to, it did one thing to pay homage to classic Star Wars in the way that it cut between different stories. Because you know, like with Star Wars, how it goes like this and like this.
Yes.
But I'm not sure that it actually did the wipes, but it was cutting between very distinct storylines throughout the episode. And neither The Mandalorian or other Bibles of Boba Fett have done that yet. So I thought it was interesting. I thought this one actually, and maybe it did it that way because it had Luke Skywalker in it, because it had a miniaturized Yoda in it. They did want to use the episode to pay homage. I don't know, but that's how it felt to me. I felt like I was watching a very I thought this one, compared to some of the other stuff, was more retrospective to Star Wars of old versus some of the other stuff that we've watched over the last few years, which has been more in line with Star Wars of new. I always mix
I liked the episode. I liked the episode. I thought the episode was fine.
I gotta go, guys.
It was fun. It was a fun episode.
Yeah, I mean, even though it didn't seem to feel tonally right, the uneven tones of the series, even though it seemed yet a different flavor, I like this. I like this this flavor from the Baskin and Robbins. You know, it was tasty. It was enjoyable. It gave me what I wanted, and or things that I didn't know that I wanted. I thought the technology was absolutely fantastic, and it just blew me away. I really enjoyed it, even though it was a lot of fan service. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So let's talk about. We've covered a lot here, but what were some of the favorite moments of the series? Captain Kirk, what was your favorite piece?
The Marshal and the blue guy. That was my favorite. It was very cool.
D-Block, it's giving you pain right now, right? That it's the blue guy.
The blue guy. Oh, God. Captain Kirk, I'll give you $1,000 if you can tell me what alien race Cad Bane is.
I don't know. He looks like that dude in the Guillermo del Toro movie, or what's his name? Guillermo.
Yeah.
In Shape of Water.
Yeah, Shape of Water. Whatever that guy. It's that thing.
I always thought that guy looked more like the guy from Hellboy. Whatever.
Abe Sapien, but yes.
I had so many for thinking that the episode was a train wreck. I had so many favorite moments. The Marshal at the beginning was just, it was just everything that I loved about Justified. It was perfect. He's got that role nailed down. Anytime you show R2, I'm going to be happy.
Yes.
Seeing the Luke's Jedi School being built, that was pretty cool. I think it will be interesting to see the choice that Grogu has to make. And then, of course, the showdown at the end. I mean, just to see Cad Bane walk in live action was just amazing. And knowing just how badass he has been over the cartoon series it was pretty great to see him. And he did not disappoint. I will say that walking in, it looked great. It had all the whole spaghetti Western feel, but like he must have walked a long way. Like he was really, he was exhausted by he didn't have a water bottle. It was impressive to just walk half the planet and with no water and then show up and, take out the marshal and the deputy. That was impressive.
Speaking of walking a lot, what is with Boba Fett walking place or Darja Din, whatever his name is, the Mandalorian? Why are they walking anywhere? Why aren't they just using their jetpacks? You keep seeing them walking around places and trudging along. You've got a jetpack.
I think fuel was expensive.
Duh. Another one of those questions.
You bring up a good point. You definitely bring up a good point. Like when during the stupid Vespa scene, like why didn't he just use his jetpack to fly over and get the guy? Or when the people had him surrounded with those shields, we just fly over them with his. I don't know. It just speaks again to the point of just Boba Fett in general has been just a disappointing character thus far. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, those were all my favorite moments.
I feel like we went from contrasting mixed feelings about it to really liking moments, and then, oh, wait a minute, maybe I didn't really like it that much.
But then also...
Oh, all right, Ervin, what were your favorite moments?
I'm really enjoying the fact that when Din Djarin's flying around in his classic N1 Naboo starfighter, I feel like that's a great nod to the past and to really sort of give the sense of how old that ship is. Because I also got the sense that his previous ship, the Razor Crest, was also a classic. So he seems to have this sort of knack for sort of sticking to some of these classics. And even though I don't know what the curly-haired woman is, where she said, "Hey, I got this ship for you. It's right up your alley. You're gonna love it."
Amy Sedaris. That's how cool the show is. It's Amy Sedaris guest starring.
Yes. So the fact that she's like, "Hey, look, I got this for you," and now that's his new ride. Every time I see him flying around in the episode, it's like, that's kind of cool. It gives the sense of how much time has taken place for other characters like the Marshal to ask, like, is that a Naboo starfighter? That thing's old. That's classic. And so to me, I thought that's been kind of fun to sort of see that happen. And I definitely agree with D Block and the captain here that seeing the showdown between Cad Bane and the Marshal, that was a pretty cool highlight in the episode where, it's like, well, hopefully this doesn't end up badly for the Marshal, but it's gonna, and it did. And so knowing that that's the type of entrance that Cad Bane is making into his live action introduction into the Star Wars universe, just the beginning. And so I know it's just he's gonna plow a whole new trajectory of mayhem. And I think that's gonna add a new element of fun and space violence. So
he seems like a way better bad guy than Moff Gideon to me.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, if you follow sort of his storyline and what he's done to some of the other characters and within the Star Wars universe, you only know that it's gonna get bad. And he's got some associates that are also pretty interesting characters. So I'm pretty sure they're going to get reintroduced and into a live action format. So that's also going to be fun. So I think there's going to be a good balance of fan service that's there. But to the point that everyone's been making here, there's been a lot of sort of disjointed things happening. I feel like things are going to sort of feel right again, because after whatever this next episode brings, we know that then it's going to flip the switch over to Mandalorian season 3, which I have a feeling is probably going to be a continuation of what we're seeing now. And it's just going to have that tone that's going to come back in, knowing that now the focal character is Mando, that things are going to sort of feel right again and feel better again. And so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
My favorite moments were seeing the Jedi training happening. I feel like you learn a little bit more about what the Jedi training experience is supposed to be. And, it's most likely here Luke Skywalker referring to his own experiences with Yoda, back on Dagobah and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, the same flipping. Yeah,
it had the same flipping thing, and you had a little bit of
the backpack looked very similar.
The backpack, you got a bit of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, going up the trees kind of thing.
But wasn't it cooler in Empire Strikes Back when they raised a starfighter instead of frogs?
Instead of a bunch of frogs. You're not wrong. Probably higher level of difficulty. Well, I don't know. Is it harder to pick up one thing versus
one big thing versus 20 small things? Well, I guess size matters not. So I don't know. Does numbers matter not?
I don't know. The other bit that I liked was the choice, because when I first saw The Mandalorian, I felt like it's Lone Wolf and Cub, right? That it's going to be that Japanese series, and one of the things that happens, I think, early on.
Wait, what Japanese series?
Lone Wolf and Cub, although it's called Kozure Okami, if I'm remembering right. And so it's a Japanese series, also based on this manga. And this happens where the baby needs to choose between. Okay, I can lean over this way. The baby needs to choose between whether to get the sword or the ball, and that determines his course in life. Yeah. So knowing that kind of pedigree of what the Mandalorian is about, of you got the lone swordsman, the lone swordsman, and then the kid. So I really liked that scene, even though it's kind of a jerk move. You got pick between one of those.
I thought that was cool too. That was a good scene. I forgot about that when we were. I forgot at the end of the episode. Yeah. I know what I'd like to see him do.
What's that?
I want him to pick the Mando, stuff, not the lightsaber.
Well, I thought it was interesting, doing that whole "you must choose, you're not ready," all that kind of stuff, and then it was like, yeah, but dude, you weren't ready and you went to Bespin. So, it was a little hypocritical. And I mean, I get it. He's got to do it. But it was like, dude, you made the same mistake. So it'll be interesting to see if he's got his own little bubble in the Starfighter. Like he's going with Mando. So I'm assuming that he will choose to go with Mando, but it'll be interesting to see what Luke has to say about that.
Yeah, but even if he goes with Mando, it's not like his midi-chlorine levels go down any. I mean, he's still got his badass powers. Maybe he can go buy a lightsaber from one of those little flying lizards on yeah.
You just can't go buy a laser sword.
Well, you can in Orlando, apparently.
So I do feel like that's going to play a much bigger role into the story. So if I had to come up with a theory on how this whole thing plays out, I do think Grogu is going to choose Mando. That's going to be his path. They're somehow going to reconnect. And after that reconnection takes place, I then feel like Cad Bane is going to come in. There's going to be an interaction. Grogu is going to pay the ultimate price. Mando is going to feel this overwhelming guilt because of him having to provide this or bringing the gift, and that he somehow now feels guilty that he is the reason why Grogu is now gone, if that happens. But
wow,
I mean, it would be
play.
No, I'm
super
I'm
dark,
saying
man.
That would be really compelling, right? Because
Can you mute him?
What?
No, they're not killing Disney.
Terrible idea. Oh my God!
I'm just saying.
A youngling? You want to kill a youngling?
Anakin
He's
killed
50 something.
younglings.
D Block, can you write a script for Aravin?
No, all I'm saying is that, I mean, if that were to happen, it's like, oh, Grogu gets what he wants. Mando ultimately gets what he wants because he has a connection with him. And then with his association that he now has working with Boba Fett and this whole clan, you know there's going to be a conflict between Boba's gang.
Oh, you're overthinking it. Grogu is gonna be Wookiee to Mando's Han Solo. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, in a best case scenario, sure. But if they want to shock the fans and if they want to tell a good story.
But it's Star Wars. They neither shock fans nor tell good stories.
Yes. We don't want new stories. We want the same old thing rehashed. With
I'm just saying.
It's Star Wars. You had 3 brand new movies that literally told the same story as the first 3 movies.
But okay, but just hear me out on this. If it were to play out that way, right, where
Disney goes bankrupt.
I think I could be on to something here, right? So if Grogu gets what he wants because he chooses to be with Din Djarin, Mando's happy. He's like, oh, I've got my little buddy again. They get to have some adventures. However, he's still, helping out Boba Fett because he said he's going to help him out. And then through some interaction, Cad Bane ends up somehow, he knows that Grogu's there and that he's buddies with Mando. Grogu becomes a casualty of war, totally puts Din Djarin over the edge, where he's like, now he's going to completely be this total different character that we haven't seen, an evil version of him, if you will, to where now he's just all about vengeance. So it becomes a story of choices and regrets, and it would add a whole new element to Star Wars in a way where it's like, okay, well, maybe things don't always have a happy ending. And I could live with that. It's like, okay, I'm not expecting that, but I think that could be pretty compelling. Right?
Yes, but
he goes from Hawkeye to Ronin.
I still have to watch Hawkeye. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh man, dude.
I know.
Hawkeye.
I'm on Bad Batch right now. I'm trying to plow through everything Star Wars.
Apparently, you're thinking about Star Wars plot lines than watching Hawkeye.
No. I mean, you're onto something interesting. I cannot see them going that direction.
I agree. That sounds like a great movie. I just don't foresee that happening.
We could be creative consultants for Star Wars.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
I'm not, but I'll say this: Jon Favreau is doing a better job than a lot of people have done before him.
I agree.
All right, let's get to some quick questions and mysteries here before we get to the wrapping it up.
Well, Walt just gave us like all the questions and mysteries. Yes. Okay, so here's my question, and this is the only thing I wanted to really bring up tonight that's related to all of the new shows. They keep talking about, oh, we don't know about Jedis, or we don't know how to find a Jedi, or what is a Jedi? I don't understand that. Luke Skywalker literally blew up the Death Star twice. How is he not the Neil Armstrong of the Empire, of the galaxy?
All right. So he only blew it up once. He was on the Death Star the second time it blew up. But I think it brings to the point that this is an entire galaxy full of many, 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 many planets. And I think it makes it with that new trilogy when Finn and Rey were like totally dumbstruck that there were even Jedi. And
that's what I don't get.
Because a lot of people don't even know any of this stuff was going on.
But they're supposed to be the most powerful people in the galaxy. And they fly all over the place and go to all these different worlds to solve problems. They're at the heart of the Senate. They were there at the Senate where their representatives are. How does everybody not know about the Jedi?
Well, number one, those were all inner rim systems that were part of the Senate. Tatooine, where a lot of this is taking place, is outer rim. They didn't have anyone at the Senate. They were their own thing.
Why inner rim and outer rim?
I mean, in the outer rim, it was just, look, you're worried about your little moisture evaporators giving you enough water and not pissing off Jabba's cronies. You don't know anything about Jedi.
But there's no, but it seems like everything from Star Wars takes place on the outer rim. What's the inner rim?
Coruscant and planets within the Senate that have representation within the Galactic Senate. I think that's...
So the outer rim is like the frontier. It's lawless?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why Jabba was able to operate.
I think the outer rim is like...
It's kind of a cool concept.
Third world countries is how I see it.
It's a cool concept. I never really thought of it that way.
Is Star Wars better now?
Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh.
Now I see why it's a Western in the outer rim. All right, that makes more sense to me now.
Yeah. But you have like Naboo. That's an inner rim. Corellia.
So Naboo,
Endor, outer rim. Kashyyyk.
Was it?
So Endor. Wait, Endor is in the outer rim?
I didn't see any Ewoks hanging out in the Galactic Senate, so I think that's outer.
Okay, then why would you have a Death Star outside of Endor?
Because who's going to police that area? It's like,
but why would you even want a Death? Oh, so you're saying they were building it there because nobody inside the inner rim would know?
Yes. The forest moon of Endor. So was Endor the forest moon, or is that where the well, Endor was the planet, and the shield generator was on the forest moon of Endor?
Very great question.
I have to look that one up.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Because it's like I'm an idiot because I don't know the answer to that.
I think Endor was a moon and it was covered with a forest.
No, but it's the
So then what
forest
was the
moon
planet?
of Endor. So is the planet Endor and where the actual Ewoks live just a moon?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was never explained.
And what was that family
That's a
with
great
kids
question.
doing in that shuttle that crashed on Endor?
Say that
Wait,
again.
the Ewok thing?
The Ewok movie, the family with
Oh.
kids.
Oh,
How
right.
did
The
they?
Ewok adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Not
are you
like
guys
that.
going to spend? Are you guys going to spend $6,000 for 2 nights at the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel in Orlando? Yeah. Really?
I mean, Walt and I are, but the rest of the family's staying at the RV park. I mean, Aravind and I are, but the rest of the family will be at the RV park.
You guys have reservations already?
No, we're just going to show up, but I figure we'll drop enough knowledge that they'll have to let us in.
That's
Oh
right.
wait,
That's
so
how it works.
you guys have a trip booked already to stay there?
Yeah, in like 2-3 weeks.
It's a 2-night, 2.5 day.
No, we're not staying there. We can't afford that.
No, I'm curious because I've seen some. So IGN and Digital Spy had some early reviews, and they said it was kind of cool. I would hate it, but it's just because I don't want anybody telling me what to do, and I don't want people talking to me in a bar that come up to me.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a whole 2 days of, do I look like someone you should be coming up to and telling me to help you?
Hey,
Muggle,
I've got this bounty here. You want to come help me? Excuse me, I'm just trying to have a drink with my friend. Would you leave me alone, please? Why are they playing the same song over and over again?
Yeah.
Anyway, but this gets back to the questions. So let's talk the bar blowing up at the end.
Yes.
And the band probably no longer be in existence.
Yes.
But we didn't see Max Rebo, did we?
There was no Max Rebo.
No.
Who's Max Rebo?
The blue elephant-like creature that plays the piano.
Book
Max
of Boba
Rebo
Fett.
was first seen in Jabba's palace in Return
Return of the Jedi. Right.
Yeah,
right.
and then he was on the sail barge,
Right.
but somehow got off of the sail barge before the unfortunate accident that occurred, and then was playing in that bar, and it blew up, but he was never seen at that bar that evening.
But maybe it wasn't that same. Maybe it was another elephant-looking blue person.
No.
Oh, she does call him Max.
Yeah, she says
Yeah.
Max. So here's my theory. He has now evaded death twice. Is he a Force user? Can he see in the future and know not to come? Because think about it. I would think that when playing the piano, having more slender fingers would be an advantage. But if you have big, fat, blobby elephant hands, how are you playing it? He's got to be a Force user. No one looks at his hands and goes, "Why is he playing the piano?" No, he has to be a Force user. So, is he Darth Plagueis?
Oh God! I think there's go look for the subreddit on that.
Yeah.
So what was that ship called that flew over the dunes to the Sarlacc pit? What was that thing called?
The sail barge?
The sail barge. That was actually really cool in the books of Boba because they showed a picture of the crash, sail barge. And I thought that was cool because that was my favorite scene in Return of the Jedi, the whole sail barge scene. I thought that was all very cool. I remember seeing that in the theater and I thought that was really cool.
I believe Fanboy G has a review of that on his
I
channel.
have the katana.
Yes.
The katana. Yeah.
What?
The sail barge. The
Is it-
sail
it's
barge is the katana.
So they named the sail barge after a Japanese sword.
Oh, that would be katana. It's Khetana.
Jesus, Ethan, you're so ignorant.
Oh, so now I'm right. I was going to say that's interesting because that points back to a lot of the Eastern things that they've pushed into the series.
Ethan, the one thing that I'm really looking forward to is, and you guys are probably aware of it, Captain Kirk. I know you're aware of it, but there was an episode of Clone Wars that never aired, where Boba Fett and Cad Bane have a duel or a showdown.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm well aware of that.
And the dent in Boba's helmet is from a blast from Cad Bane.
I did not know that.
It's not considered canon because that episode never aired. But it will be interesting to see, do they recognize that these two have a history, and so
that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Do they do a flashback of some kind? And while that would be terrible storytelling and terrible timing, and it would just put everything off track, it would still be awesome to see that in live action.
All right. So quick one here. Finale expectations. I think we've covered. It's pretty obvious that this is going to be big climactic battle, fighting against the Pikes, regaining control of Tatooine, and keeping Spice and the Pikes off of their planet.
I think the obvious thing is that they're going to go to war and it's going to be all out chaos. I don't know why. I don't know why you would just try and cram all of that into one episode.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to learn Grogu's decision in this episode, or that this episode is just going to be about? And actually, we haven't even talked about Ming-Na in this series.
She's great.
That's true.
Unexpected actress to play that role, and she is great in it.
She is.
She's fantastic.
I like her. She's a great character.
Yeah, I kind of wish that it was Book of
Fennec Shand.
Yeah, thank Ferrick.
No, what's really interesting is you'd expect it to be. I mean, look, Ming-Na is like our age.
Yeah, she's
older. She's, I think, 54.
21.
Oh, so she's 10 years older than us.
Boba Fett, Tamara Morris is like 60-something.
Is he really?
Boba Fett.
Yeah. He's like 60-something.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, he's a good actor. All right. Wow. I didn't realize. I'm just surprised that not that they cast her. And I mean, she's a great actress and she's been really great in this series. But she's gotten no attention for her role at all in anything that I've read, which is kind of interesting, actually.
I enjoy her character. I feel D Block, the parts that we see of her in the Bad Batch, I liked as well.
Yeah, and she looks exactly the same.
All right. Other things that we before we wrap up, other things to say about the Book of Boba Fett. Anything at all?
I would say that, like I said earlier, it definitely started off a little rocky. It has progressively gotten better. It also became a story that had less of Boba Fett in the storyline and more of Din Djarin, and especially in the last 2 episodes. If they could have spent more time on Boba Fett's relationship with the Sand People, I think that in itself could have played out really well, and it could have almost been another like a space Last Samurai type of story that could have played out, and just that alone I think could have been spectacular. And so I know they're trying to, at least the impression I'm getting is that they're trying to push this continuity of what's happening between the Boba Fett timeline and the Din Djarin timeline with what's happening. So they're meshing the stories to the point
there's
that
an
D Block's
Ahsoka
been
series
making.
coming out.
I hope that they don't. I hope they don't cram too much in to where they're compromising the quality of the story. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next episode.
Yeah. Captain Kirk?
I like the idea of a Star Wars Last Samurai. That sounds like a good idea. That would be a great series or a great movie. Because I like The Last Samurai.
I love The Last Samurai. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Last Samurai is what the story of was 300, right? Kinda. Everybody dies.
It's I'm sorry. Last Samurai. It's White Savior in Japan, which makes it canceled at this. Well, I shouldn't say. I mean,
it was White Tiger. It was a White Tiger.
It's an unfortunate portrayal of that story, but what it does show is the horrors of imperialism. Yeah. And I'll just leave it at that. And I think Star Wars also shows the horrors of imperialism, and that's why I think you could get an interesting story out of that.
That's interesting. That's an interesting. Yeah, I mixed feelings. It's enough for me to watch every week. I will miss, I think, having new Star Wars to watch, the following Wednesday. I like that it's on. It's kind of like how I had a little bit of withdrawal when the Disney Plus Marvel shows had a break. So I'm glad, remembering in childhood, like what, 83, 85 or 83 after Jedi.
Yeah.
That was it. There was nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than the Ewok adventure and having stuff on Betamax or VHS, there was nowhere else to go. There were droids. That's right. That's true.
Star Trek 4 came out in '87.
Humpback whales.
Save the whales.
Humpback whales. That's right.
Double dumbass to you.
Yeah, that is a good line. That's the good line.
That is a great line.
So I'm glad that I'm still getting Star Wars. I'm glad that I'm getting. It's nothing like I would have ever imagined as a kid. So even if it's not quite right, it's like pizza. It's still good. It's still good for me.
It's like pizza. Even bad pizzas, still pizza.
Yes.
It could be better. It could certainly be better, but it's good. So thank you for watching. As always, we appreciate you. And if you are still here at the very end, I'm
congratulations.
Sorry, but thank you. So thank you for watching. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye.